life, your term show.
I am here with the longest standing rockstar coach, the one and only Leslie Kitchen. Leslie, I don't know if you know this, but you're a bit of a legend at Rockstar. You're the longest standing coach. I think you've been here since like 2007 with the team.
2007. Yeah, that's right.
Is it 2007?
Yeah, so it started in 2006. And then I didn't start till about 9 months or 10 months later or something like that. Or maybe a year later, almost a year later.
So you were the first team member to join up with Tom and Nick.
Yes, they had a part-time assistant.
Okay.
And then I joined. As soon as they started it, I inquired about it. And they said, oh, no, it's just for people that aren't realtors, or people in real estate. It was for at that time. And then, so I let it go. I wanted to go to one of their classes and they said no, so no problem.
They said no because you were a realtor?
They were just starting, yes. At that time, they were just starting out. They were looking for people to do business with, not people that were on.
To grow a team or whatever.
Yeah, at that time. And then an email came out. And I think it was July or something after that, and said they were looking for people for their team.
Oh, cool.
So I immediately responded, and then I had an interview with Tom. I still remember back in the office, way back in the back room at a Keller Williams office, and he just shared with me what they were doing about the guys in Ohio. They went down to a brokerage in Ohio that was doing rent to own. And him and Nick went there and shadowed them, came back, and they were going to implement it here in Canada. And it all made sense, like the whole vision of it. I just got so lit up about it. Went home, couldn't sleep for like 2 weeks because I kept thinking about it. And Tom called me back and said, I want to interview you again. So I came back, and I just said to him that day, I remember, you've got to make a decision one way or the other because I can't sleep at night and I need to know. And the next day he said, okay, we'll try you out. And that's how it started.
Wow. So why were you so interested from the get-go in what they were doing?
Yeah, really good question. Because, so a little bit of my background, I spent 22 years at WSIB. Started as a stenographer and worked my way up to an appeals officer.
What's a stenographer?
Like a typist.
Okay.
Typing up investigation notes.
Okay.
I had really good typing and shorthand skills way back then. I won some awards for Future Secretary of Canada, Future Secretary of Kitchener, Ontario, and then Canada.
Wow.
Yeah, and so I was hired. I first worked at a law firm, and then I went to this WSIB and just worked my way through all different jobs, ended up as an appeals officer. Loved that job. But in the middle of all that, my husband's friend or colleague that he worked with introduced him to a network marketing company where I just happened to sit at the dining room table to hear about it. My husband had no interest in it, but I saw it. I saw a vision that I thought, wow, that's incredible. And I jumped on board. So I was doing this part-time and then decided to just leave my full-time job and work on it full-time, which was pretty, I had a lot of negative feedback, like people telling me not to do that. I had a really good pension, a really good job, good income. I don't know. I just thought this is an opportunity.
Mm-hmm. Was that your first entrepreneurial foray?
Yeah. And I had such a culture shock. I had no idea. So I went from structure of full-time job, getting up, you do your work, get paid, to suddenly having no structure, not interacting with people, but my job was about network marketing. You're talking to people, right? Mm-hmm. So I remember there was a 3-week stint where I couldn't speak. I couldn't even pick up the phone. I was that nervous.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that first year was really brutal for me because it was a culture shock. But it worked. Like I eventually got to the second highest position at company and never really replaced my income. And then a whole bunch of things happened with that company and I stopped believing in the company, and you can't, promote something you don't believe in. At least I can't. So at one point I just said, I called my mentor. At the time I had a really good mentor, and he talked to me for about 3 hours and told me that I should get into real estate.
Why real estate?
He had been in real estate before. He was in Baltimore, and he had been successful in real estate. He thought I'd be successful in real estate. It wasn't even on my radar, real estate. So I finally, at the end of that call, gave him a commitment and said, Wayman, I'll look into it. I'm not telling you I'm going to do it, but I'll give you a commitment to look into it. So I went and did a simulator test through Royal LePage, and I started looking up the site, and I was passing I was getting higher grades on the simulator test than the average real estate agent, and I had no knowledge or experience at all. So I thought, maybe I could do this. Like, it was just planting the seed. And since I wasn't going to work my business anymore, I just started taking the courses. So within 5 months, I had my license because I could just focus on my courses. And I had my license, and I went around to all these different brokerages and gave them I didn't have a resume. I had who I am, like my purpose in life, my values, and what I stood for.
Oh, wow.
And I handed this went to different brokerages to see whether I'd be a fit there, and 5 different brokerages. And then I lived in Burlington at the time. I wanted to work in Burlington, but at the time I come out of my exam for one of my courses, they hand me this flyer. They're opening up a Keller Williams office in Oakville. So I thought, and their values and what they stood for was very similar. So I thought, I could join them. I don't care. It's in Oakville. That's fine. So that's how I met Tom and Nick. So they got into real estate, and they were also just getting their license too. This was 2005, and I got to know them just from them being in the office and that sort of thing. And then they started this working with investors. But what happened in the meantime is I still wasn't sure that real estate is what I wanted to do. And I said to my friend, I really like working with people that have vision, that have a goal, that want to go somewhere. And I'm not sure how real estate does that. And she just looked at me and said, it probably has to do with working with investors. And I remember thinking, well, you know what? Yeah, who would ever invest in real estate unless they're up to something or wanting to create something for themselves? Like, why else would you do it?
Yeah.
At least that's how I was thinking at the time. So I invested $10,000 into a course to learn more about real estate investing. And then I started taking all my articling courses related to real estate investing. So by the time Tom and Nick started working with real estate investors, it was like, yes, I want to know what you're doing.
You're already primed for it.
Yeah. So then, so when we started, it was a perfect fit because I just love working with people that have a goal. Like, you sit down, you create their plan. We used real estate as a product, for me, I'm not passionate about real estate. I like real estate. I find it really interesting, but really my passion is with people, like working with people. Like, if I could sell socks and get the same result that you do with real estate, sure, that's fine too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's more about what the tool does for people as opposed to the tool itself.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like my clients would be watching all the real estate shows and listening to that. I never listened to that. I just did what I have to do as far as real estate goes.
You wanted to help people and people with a vision, right? Which is investors. They want to build something for themselves. They want a better future.
Yeah. They'll have goals. Why are they doing it? I want to put 2 kids through university so that they don't have to come out in debt. Or, I hate my job, so I want to, get it successful enough in real estate so I can leave my job or retire early or something like that. So it's tying it into, okay, what can we do with the real estate to help make that happen, move them towards their whatever it is that they want in life. So.
And Rockstar's business model, helping investors with rent to own, spoke to you?
Yeah, well, rent to own just made sense to me at the time. Like, it was like, as soon as I started with Tom and Nick, I thought, well, if I'm going to coach people on investing properties, I better have a property at least.
Yeah.
So I went out immediately and bought a property, and I didn't even know the system. That's the other thing I knew is Tom said they had a system that worked, and I didn't need to know the system. I just know that they had a system and it worked. So I bought the property without knowing the system, learned the system as I go. I felt like they had my back, so I could just go out and buy a property. So at the time, it was when I think about it, timing, it was pretty incredible that I was able to buy a property, because after I had left my full-time job and I'm becoming an entrepreneur, we'd gone on for several years. I put my family into debt. So at one point we were like $160,000 in credit card debt.
Really?
Yeah. And
holy smokes.
Yeah. Because we didn't change our lifestyle, but we were, but I did have no income coming in for a while.
Wow.
Yeah. And it built up very quickly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And had you started paying it down before getting into in with Tom and Nick and doing the rent to own, or as money did start coming in from the network marketing?
Oh no, that was after the network marketing. So I left that, and we actually moved and then paid off, and then it quickly rose again. So by the time I started working with Tom and Nick, I don't know where it was, but it was up there, very up there.
Wow.
Yeah, it took me several years to pay it off, and I did pay it off. And but at the time when I'm getting this mortgage, I have debt. I don't have a lot of income yet. I'm just started, like I'm in real estate, but I don't have tons of income in real estate yet. So bought this property, but I just went to the mortgage broker and I said, I don't know how you're going to do it, but you find a way. I need to buy this property.
Yeah.
And he did.
Was that Dave Butler?
No, it was
somebody
else. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And I bought it, and I still have that property. Actually, I'm filling it right now. It's the first property we bought.
Where's this one?
This one was on Hamilton Mountain.
Okay. So I don't think I've been to this one, right?
No,
you didn't do a video? Okay.
No.
Is it still single family, or have you?
Single family.
Yeah.
Yeah, not switching it over. It's not really ideal for a duplex. Well, because it doesn't have the driveway space.
Got it.
I don't like I just wanted to keep one as a single family, so.
Yeah. So you did the rent to own. The tenants obviously didn't buy you out.
Right, we did several rent-owns on that property.
Okay. And the tenants never just successfully went
Well,
through
the first tenants, their marriage broke up, and it was a disaster. There was marital abuse going on there, I think. They were only there about a year, and then another one. I had a next door neighbor that was a problem, and she was always harassing my tenants, and we finally got to when we went into this one tenant, they moved in, and like she was calling by law because they left their hose on part of their property, or we had a deck beside it on the driveway, and suddenly that became a problem. So the bylaw officer actually told her, like, you keep complaining about that, your air conditioner sitting right there should be at the back of the house. They can tell you to move that to the back of the house. So it's just a real battle with this. We lost a couple tenants because of her. Mm-hmm. So we finally went to the lawyer, had a letter written up threatening that if she loses us another tenant, that we could take her to court or whatever. And then that stopped it, because she was in the legal field. She was working in a legal office, and I guess she was really embarrassed by the fact that this is what we were told.
Nice. Hit her where it hurts.
Yeah. So
effective strategy.
And eventually she moved.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I've actually never heard of that, of a neighbor of a property you don't own being the problem.
Yeah, she was a problem. So we lost. Anyway, then we had a tenant there that was about there for 7 years. They were rent and own. We kept extension, and then eventually this became a straight tenant. And then eventually we had to evict them, actually, but they left.
Wow.
And then we had the last tenant that's been there another 7 years, and he just passed away in May.
Oh.
So we had to get possession of our house. And
so how were you informed that he passed away?
well, his son lived with them right from the beginning. His son was living, but not on the lease. And actually at one point, I think all three of his sons were living with him, but he had been a long-term tenant, and I had sent a message to him that I wanted to do a property inspection. I don't know, let's just say May 28th or whatever it was, or I guess it was May 28th, I think. And it was a while ahead of time, because I knew I was going to be in the area. I had another property I was filling that I was going to meet a tenant for. So I said, we'd like to come and have an inspection of the property. It's been a while. And then he didn't respond, which was kind of odd. So that's fine. It got closer to the date. I had planned on sending an email on the Friday, but on the Thursday, his son called me and said his dad had just passed away that week. And he knew about us wanting to come on the Tuesday, that we could still come and whatnot. So that's how we went, and we met his son at the property. They were trying to clear stuff out, but it was a disaster. They didn't take all the stuff. It was a real mess. So
Really?
Yeah, it was really bad.
So you guys had to hire junk removal, get rid of the extra
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, we got a contractor in to help remove some of the junk. My husband worked on it too, got a couple dumpsters full. And we got possession in June. So the goal was we were going away in the beginning of July. So I said, just get it cleaned out by then. And then when we get back, we hired a contractor. So it's now ready to show. We still have a few small jobs to do with it, but it's ready to show. So
Okay. So far we've just talked about nothing but problems with this property. Has it done well for you?
Yeah,
Has it been worth it?
Totally. Yeah. Like we, so I buy this property with about 5% down. And then I've refinanced it another time to buy another property, and then refinanced it again to pull out some equity in 2021. And then that left me with lines of credit to do some work on the property. So it's not a problem. No, I've got my money out of this property.
Oh, I bet.
This fall, the Empire is back, but so is the Resistance. On Saturday, October 18th in Mississauga, it's the Your Life, Your Terms event, Ontario's most energized gathering of real, in-the-trenches investors. This is the Resistance in action. One day of real strategies, fresh ideas, and new allies who believe in living life on their terms. The lineup, out of this galaxy. Ben Rabideau with the sharpest real estate and economic data. Tom Karadza on global forces reshaping Canada's future. Nick Karadza on the money revolution changing finance forever. Dave Butler with 5 game-changing investor mortgage programs. A powerhouse panel delivering blunt, on-the-ground real estate insights. Tom and Nick on launching and scaling income streams for freedom. Dr. Caitlin Link on taking control of your health and fitness. Past attendees call it a must-attend, electric, and say they've walked away with tens of thousands of value from a single day. Ticket prices rise as the event gets closer, so the earlier you grab your seat, the more you save. Some tiers include extra bonuses you don't want to miss. So the question is, will you sit back while the Empire makes it harder for everyday Canadians to get ahead? Or will you join the Resistance, take your seat, and rise above the system? Go now to yourlifeyourtermsevent.com and grab your ticket before it's gone. That's yourlifeyourtermsevent.com before ticket prices rise. If you're a Rockstar member, your ticket is free.
So if you put 5% down back in what, 2007?
Yeah, so it'd be just over 20,000.
Yeah, so just over 20,000 in. And that was probably the cost of the renovation and junk removal, right?
Oh, it's more than that now. I spend more than that now just for this. Yeah.
Yeah. You've been able to pull some equity out, definitely hundreds of thousands at this point.
Yeah, a couple times we've pulled equity. One to buy another property and one to just do some work. Like we've done the roof, we've done the furnace, the A, the C, the shank. Like we did a lot of the outside stuff, the major stuff. And we did cosmetics in between showings, but this time it was like he had a son that was pretty violent and would put holes in the walls. So there was a lot of drywall work that we had to do. So, yeah.
Oh man. Okay.
Yeah.
So 2007, you start working with Tom and Nick, you start helping, you do your first rent to own, you see that the system works for yourself.
Yeah.
Proof of concept. And then you start working with other investors.
I was working with other investors right away.
Okay.
Like it was right away.
Helping them execute the system.
Yeah. So I was looking for property for them at the same time I bought mine. So yeah, I had a few. I can still remember some of my initial investors from those days. But yeah, we did hundreds and hundreds of rent-own properties.
So pretty quickly, like it started catching on. You guys were successful. Money's coming in. You're helping people.
Yeah.
Do you feel more aligned with your purpose right away?
Oh yeah, as soon as I'm working with as soon as I'm working with people, to empower them, achieve success, and have my purpose is really to empower them to achieve success and have their impact on others make profound difference.
Oh, very cool.
So it's not just about me helping them; it's what they will do and how the difference they can make.
Mm-hmm. Yes, with the financial backing to do so.
Yeah.
Right? It really opens up their potential in their lives, and it's like a chain reaction. You help them, they can go out and help others.
Totally. You never know how it's going to end up. right? Like you just never know. You make a difference over here and it could explode, and you just don't know.
Yeah. It's that butterfly effect.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think about that. Like if I've ever been in a negative state and I reflect on that, I'm like, oh man, I was just sending bad vibes out to the universe. And who knows if those are, coming back in some sort of karma way. I think that is true over the long run. Karma exists, but it's just so much better to put out positive vibes. And I think, about people that, it's just a smile or a comment or a funny joke. And it's like they're putting positivity out in the world. And I need to remind myself sometimes, hey, focus on the positive, put out those positive vibes.
Yeah.
Because it all ripples out, right?
Totally does. It totally does.
Yeah. So then did you keep growing as an investor as you were helping other investors?
Yeah, we kept buying property. We've done many rental owns and liked that concept. We've now changed 2 single families into duplexes and did student rentals. So just duplexes, student rentals. I like residential real estate versus like buildings or, I like doing multifamilies up to 4plexes, but after that, once it gets beyond that, it's not really my specialty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And is there a particular strategy that you've liked the most over the years? You've done rent to own, straight rentals, student rentals, duplex conversions. Is there like one winning strategy, or you like the blend of all of them and they've all served you in different ways?
Yeah. Like them all.
Yeah.
Like them all. Yeah.
And has it all been in one geographic location or kind of all over Ontario?
No, mainly Hamilton, Brantford, and London.
Okay.
And that I've invested in.
Yeah.
Obviously I was doing work all over the place. So like we were doing a lot of work in Durham in the early days. I worked in Brampton in the early days, up in obviously Barrie and Aurelia. We still do work there. And then Niagara area. I almost bought a property in Niagara. We put a few offers in there, but didn't get the property. We lived at the time in Burlington and Hamilton, so it made sense. It made sense to be close. I always thought if I can be an hour from my properties, I'm in good shape. Now we're not, but because we moved north. But yeah.
Yeah. And do you still self-manage all of them?
I manage. I don't manage the ones in London.
And those are student rentals?
One is student rental and one is a duplex.
Okay. So you have management on those ones?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And do they do everything? They fill, they manage?
They do pretty much everything. I mean, I have to manage the manager.
Yes. What's that experience been like? Managing
the manager?
Yeah.
Pretty good. During COVID, there was a situation where, they came to me and they said they had put in new tenants, and throughout the summer, this one tenant didn't want to pay rent until they moved in September. They'll pay it all back then, but they didn't want to pay through the summer, using the excuse about not having a job for the summer or something like that for COVID. And so I had to push back because she was kind of letting the father of this person know that I'd probably go for it. And she was telling me other people are doing this. I said, well, first of all, before we do that, do the other tenants know that she's like, because there's 5 students. On
one group lease?
Yeah, and they're on one group lease. So they're responsible if she's not going to pay her part. Do they know? They didn't really know. And I said, well, there's also 5 parental guarantees. Do the parents know? Mm-hmm. Like, and can I see a copy of the parental guarantees so I know what the situation is? Well, it turns out 3 of them were in banking, had no impact on COVID at all, and they were making like $200,000 to $300,000 a year. Mm-hmm. The one that was asking for the break was a doctor out in British Columbia. So I went back. I said, I'm not really their bank. If they don't want to pay for over the summer, can't they go to their guarantor and have them pay? Why should I not receive income for that 3 months and then they're going to pay me? What if the 3 months comes and they don't come to school and then they don't pay?
Yeah.
Right? Like, and so that was a situation where I had to really push back, and then they went back, and apparently she paid, but the father was ticked off because they were already led to believe that I would go along with this beforehand. So that's just the minor things. And then, if things come up expense-wise, I just watch what they're doing. Another property manager on my other property, I just got involved, like when a vacancy came up, I just put an ad in myself and then referred him the leads. So I took a proactive approach, not just leaving it to him because he's got other properties. I wanted my property to be important. So I kept getting leads. And actually both tenants that went into both units came from my leads.
Oh, there you go.
So it paid off, right?
Totally, yeah. I think it's still important, right, for the investor to be involved and to have a thumb on what's happening and make sure no balls are being dropped, proper attention is being given. And then, of course, if you have a situation like that isn't being handled correctly, you got to step in and figure it out, right?
Yeah, definitely. Like I try and teach my investor clients the same thing because I've seen in times where they come to me after things have already fallen apart with the property manager. I'd say, well, do you have a copy of lease? Like, what happened? When did it become vacant? They don't know. So they're not right on top of things. And I still think it doesn't matter whether you have a property manager, you still have to manage your property.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. So what has real estate allowed you to accomplish in your life?
Oh boy. Yeah. Like everything, going from being like $160,000 in debt into paying that all off and buying the properties because of the properties and the equity buildup. We were able to move up north and be by the water, which was my dream, what I wanted to do. And just so much. We do traveling. If it weren't for the properties, we wouldn't be able to keep up. No. Unless I still kind of worked at my corporate job and I never gave that up, I might have been in an okay position. But I don't know.
Was your husband working this whole time?
No, he retired. He was off on sick benefit for a while, and then he retired for about I'm thinking, gosh, it's been over 15 years. I'm trying to remember. Most of the time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So most of the time he wasn't working. But he manages a lot of stuff. Like, I'm spoiled. He does, he does the laundry. He does a lot of the cooking, does the shopping. He does repairs. He's handy. Like when we have a property rollover, he'll get right involved in that. And I'll give him contractor's name, but he'll line up sometimes the contractors. Sometimes I get involved, but it depends on how much work there is. Some of it I do and some of it he'll do, but he's just right there. He's great.
Yeah. So you guys are a team with this stuff.
Yeah, very much so.
So, and now would you say semi-retired? Would you say still working? Like, how would you characterize what you're up to right now?
I would say semi.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I would say would be most accurate. I started, so what happened back in 2016, I was diagnosed with cancer.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, so and at that time I had been working a lot, and so I had surgery, and then I tried to go right back into work. And then I thought, so a few things I thought, instead of doing the traditional medical field, I went to a holistic doctor and was treated holistically from after the surgery from that point on. And, then I started looking at changing my lifestyle. So radically changed my diet at the time. I, started going to yoga 3 times a week, and I cut my work back. Basically what I did is I just stopped taking on new people because I had enough work that was keeping me busy for a good few years just with the people I already worked with. And then I started, and then I went to the Landmark Forum. That was a fourth thing I did, just to kind of look. The Landmark Forum's about looking to see what's in your blind spot, like what you don't know that you don't know in life about yourself.
Yeah.
And I thought, okay, I want to see if there's something in my blind spot that contributed to me getting sick. And that was why I went. And oh my God, Anthony so much showed up. I could really see how I wasn't being responsible around my health, where like I was just not looking after myself.
Is this a workshop, an event, community?
Forum? No, the forum is like 3 full days, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and a Tuesday evening. And it's 3 full days. So it goes from 9 a.m. to 10 p.m. There's an hour break for dinner. and you get a break every 2.5, 3 hours. So it's really, it's a conversation, and you really get to see through conversations with other people, or you can get coaching yourself, but most of it takes place through the conversations that the leader is having with other people, and you get to see something that's in your blind spot that you just can't see, that opens up a whole new world of opportunity for you, whole new world of possibility for you. So
you're speaking to somebody like I don't know what you would call it, like a coach or a mentor or seminar leader there, and he's asking you questions to get you to think about stuff.
Yeah, it's really a conversation. There's one, they call them distinctions. So there's one distinction after another. And you get to see things that you didn't see that would open up. Like, I don't know, it's very freeing. You come back out of there, you I was lighter than anything. I was free, right? Because you get complete with things that are from the past. Because often we redo our future over and over again. Like our past comes into our future. Interesting. And by getting complete with things from the past, it creates nothing in the future, that you can create whatever you want for yourself in your life. And that's what that's all about. So it was really a powerful program. And I had taken it before. That's why I knew about it. I had taken it in 2001 and did a few of their programs. We did the wisdom program, my husband and I, in 2005 when I was just starting in real estate. And then that's how I created my purpose, my values, what I stood for. That's how that all happened before I got into real estate. And then, so going back to this program, I had a reason to go back. I wanted to discover something in my blind spot, and a whole bunch of stuff has shown up. So I'll give you an example. In how I communicated before would be, I always went around people. So in kindergarten, what I discovered, like in kindergarten, that I put my hand up, the teacher asked me what did I want? And I said, I have to go to the washroom. And she says, Leslie, it's not time to go to the bathroom. And she had a ruler in her hand and she slapped me over the wrist with it. And in that moment, I decided, like, I was nervous about talking to anybody of authority. That's what showed up. But I didn't even know that that's what showed up. Like, that just showed up. From that point on, like, anybody who I perceived had authority, I was always afraid to talk to them or go to them. So if I had something I wanted to talk to my dad about, I'd go to my mom and that sort of thing. And then when I went out in the workforce, if there was something to talk about or an idea I wanted to share, or if something was going on that needed to be discussed, I would enroll my colleagues to do the talking versus me going up to the person and talking about it. So it was always around, you know what I mean? Like it was frustrating because I'd be in a team meeting and I wouldn't speak up. And then somebody else wouldn't speak up the way I wanted to speak up or say, you know what I mean? It was just frustrating. So when I discovered that, it was like, wow, it's just how I wound up being.
And you didn't realize it till you were at this thing and it kind of came out in the conversation.
It came out in I got to see that it was in my blind spot. I didn't know that that's how I communicated to people. I didn't know that's how it just did. So when I saw it, I have choice. Like, so next time I saw myself about to do that, you have choice. Because once you discover something, you can't not discover it. You know what I mean? Yeah, like it's like a blind spot. Like once it's there, you can't. You see it. Once you see it, you see it. So then I had a choice in the matter. I could do how I always did, it wound up being, or I could speak up, go directly to the source. And after you do that over and over again, it becomes part of who you are, right? So, but if I hadn't discovered that, I wouldn't even know that I didn't know. Yeah.
So have you returned to this Landmark Forum since 2016?
So that was 2017 I did that.
Okay.
I've been participating in their programs ever since.
Every year?
Well, the forum I haven't. I've done a forum another time. Like, so that was in person, and then I did the forum when it was online. I've done it both online and in person, and I've done many other seminars. Like, they have seminars. I'm in the leaders program. I actually am an event leader, which means I can lead introductions to Landmark Forum, and it's so I'm still participating with Landmark. Put it that way.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. So it's obviously providing an ongoing benefit to you.
Yeah, ongoing personal growth. Always discovering something's not working in my life. I can use the distinctions and have a breakthrough in that.
Yeah. Oh, that's super interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So real estate's allowed you to do all these things. I see you like traveling a lot.
Yeah.
I think more than you ever have before. I think one time you actually mentioned to me, I don't know if it was somebody passing or something that made it click for you where you're like, hey, I need to like travel now.
It was in the Landmark seminar.
Okay.
It was one of the, just before COVID hit, my husband and I started using the seminars as our date night. So we'd go down to Toronto, go out for dinner, then we'd go to our seminar, and then we'd talk all the way home about, what what the seminar was about. And so we were in this one seminar, and I had always continually put myself into overwhelm. So I had a coach from 2005 all the way through. She was out in British Columbia. It was like a life coach. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know this was something that was in my blind spot. Again, I didn't know why I was always putting myself into overwhelm. Like I'd always be in overwhelm. I've got so much to do, complain about so much to do, never have time for anything, right? So I had this breakthrough about what I saw is that how I end up in overwhelm all the time is because of how I was not in integrity with myself. I wasn't honoring myself and my own schedule, things that were important to me. So we would, somebody phoned me and said, hey, will you show some of my clients on Sunday? I have something to have to do. Do you mind? And I'd open up my calendar and I'd look, and it would say something like, in my calendar I was supposed to work on my books that day, for a couple, but I thought, I can do that another time. And I'd go and do that, not wanting to disappoint somebody. So I'd go and do that. And then this thing would then I'd realize I'd get off the phone. I'd think, oh my God, when am I going to do that? I have been putting it off for already 3 months. This was supposed to happen on that day. And then I'd be starting to resent the fact that I have to do so much. And I'd complain about it, especially, and then I'd take it out on my husband because, he'd come in and he'd want to start talking to me, and I'd say, I can't talk right now. I've got so much to do, like you don't understand.
Poor Mike.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So
I hope there was room in your schedule for this podcast. I hope I didn't cross the boundary there.
No, I broke through this. This happened in 2019.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Good.
So in 2019, when I saw that I did this, I put myself into this because I wasn't honoring everybody else's schedule was more important than mine. Mm-hmm. So once I honored myself, like I really saw that I was doing this, that I'll give you an example. After I discovered this, so I went down, I apologized to Mike, and I said, I really see now why I'm always busy. And I said, I want to create a theme for next year, that this is our time. And because if not now, when?
Yes.
And so we booked 4 vacations for 2020. We went on the first one.
Oh God.
And then everything shut down.
Maybe it wasn't your time.
No, but the possibility of being in my time was still there, present. Like it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't about. So when the vacations got canceled, okay, well, what else can we do? This is our
cool.
time.
You pivoted.
We did. We bought. Mike had talked about his favorite motorcycle for how many years since I knew him. When are you going to buy that? When are you going to wait till you can't drive it anymore? So we went out and we got that. And then I said, let's start looking at waterfront property. Let's start looking where we can be by the water. Wow. So that all started in that time because it's our time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, it's just been really, really good. It was a real good breakthrough. It was a huge breakthrough because when I talked to my coach after, she said she couldn't believe how calm I was, how like I'm not in overwhelm because I can work my schedule now how I want, and I do more. And I actually, after I created that, I had one of my best income years after that. Mm-hmm. And yet I wasn't doing as much, like I was doing other things too. So it was...
you think that contributed to it?
Yeah.
Because you had more time,
energy,
space, energy.
So I had this one client I had taken out all day Saturday. Like we went to see all kinds of properties. And her kids were in from Western University, and they were looking for a property for them in Burlington. So after that, she called me and said, Leslie, or she let me know, she sent me a message and said, there's some property, this is Sunday morning, again, I had something scheduled for myself on Sunday. So she sends me a message and she says, I wondered if you had time to show us some more properties today. And we picked out a whole bunch. And if not, if I understand it's short notice, if not, I go out Tuesday. But on Tuesday, my kids will be back to university, so I'd have to FaceTime them and whatnot. And I said, but that's okay. I totally understand. So I immediately get up and I wander downstairs and I start complaining to Mike, like, oh, now I have to work this afternoon. I had so many things to plan, like, poor me again, like this, like as if I'm some kind of victim. And then then I realized I don't have to. She didn't say I had to, like, and it's a choice here in the matter. And so I went back upstairs and I thought to myself, I would like to, because then they could be there to see the property. And instead of waiting till Tuesday and they wouldn't be there. And it totally did a whole shift on it. Like, it's like, no, I'm going to do this and I'm going to go out and we're going to have fun as we look at these properties. And that's what we did. We actually ended up finding the property they bought that day.
Oh, cool.
But
your energy was different.
It was I wasn't going there resenting it. Oh, I have to do this. I was going there in a space of, it's my choice. And that was a really powerful shift for me in my time, in my management of my time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, this sounds like this has been really impactful for you.
Yeah, really, really a lot.
Yeah. What have you seen real estate do for some of your investor clients that you've worked with? You must have seen so many different stories now. Yeah,
well, the one I've seen people retire early from because of their properties. I've had I mentioned about the one that came in and wanted to buy two. They had bought more than two, but the two specific properties for each child, so that when they come out of university, they didn't have to pay. Well, one property did it, so they accomplished that. A lot of people like being able to shift how much they work. That would be one of the big ones, or just having a lifestyle where they aren't worried about money. Right, because they have their properties and what the difference that made for them, the equity. So I don't know, other than traveling, being able to retire early, putting kids through university, that sort of thing is the biggest.
Help solve the money problem.
That's what
I think of it, right? Like everybody has this money problem. You got to go out and work to make money, to pay for your life. You have to. Mm-hmm. And we're all faced with this money problem. You need money. And how do you get money? Well, you got to go out and work for it. Yeah. But if you can solve for that money problem, it allows you to move on to bigger and better things in life where you can solve for other problems you have in your life. Because at the same time you're solving for your money problem, you're neglecting a lot of other problems, right? Personal issues, relationship issues, health, wellness, aspirations, dreams, hobbies. Like there's all sorts of problems that are cropped up, but they're back burner problems because the main problem is always your money problem.
Exactly.
You need money because you need it to survive. You need shelter, you need food. So it's obviously first preference. It's like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, right? It's like, you got to take care of the base essentials. Mm-hmm. But if you can solve for that by figuring out the money system, by figuring out the money game, whether it's properties, other investments, starting a business, building systems in your life to solve for that money problem, then you can move on to the bigger and better things in life. And the people that I've met here at Rockstar or the vicinity of Rockstar that have been able to solve for that, it's pretty crazy to see like what you can go on and then tackle next. Because you clear that hurdle and it's like, oh, okay, what's next? Because inevitably there becomes a what's next. You can't just sit around.
Right. They have a lot more opportunity. A lot more doors will open, a lot more possibilities when you don't have the money issue, because the money issue can be a stress in itself too, right? So, Your 2020 year of, this is our year, the theme. Yeah. Do you think you were able to do that? One, because you acknowledged, this pattern of behavior that you had around this. That's obviously the big unlock. But were you also at a place in your life because you had built up the assets and the properties in your business that you could actually financially achieve that? Where you're like, okay, like we've worked our way, up this mountain for so long. Like, let's start walking down the mountain a bit and enjoying it a bit. Exactly. Yeah.
So a combination of the
combination. But I had the equity, the assets to allow us to do that. Like, because otherwise, like if you didn't have the money, you couldn't do it anyway, right?
Yeah.
So,
I guess what I'm wondering is if you could go back to like 2005, 2010, could you have made it your year back then, and then every year since?
Oh, I see. This is my time. I think I still could have had a breakthrough in time. In how I manage my time. It would probably went towards different goals because I think the priorities shift as you get older, right? Like there was a priority in my work. I still like working, right? Like it's not the top priority, right? Like my life is much more balanced now. Like we have a lot more fun. Like we do a lot of things for fun now.
Yeah, you really do. Yeah.
Yeah. For traveling, and we just do a lot of things with people that we met up north. And so my priority for that shifted. But yeah, I think the time issue could definitely have, if I could have had a breakthrough sooner in the time, it would have made a huge difference.
Do you see a lot of the people in your life struggling with the money problem, and you've tried like speaking to them about it or helping them solve it? And like, have you run into kind of frustration points with that, or you see other people's blocks when it comes to that?
I do. Yeah. Especially when it's family members or it's friends, or mostly it's family members and friends that I see that struggle, that you'd like to help. And sometimes you do a little bit, but it's, if they don't change the mindset, like it really does start with the shift in mindset. And if they aren't into that or willing to work on that, then, or have a breakthrough in their whatever they're doing that's not working, then it's not much you can do. And people don't like to listen to people they know the best, right? So
yeah, fair.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Somebody else can tell them, and that will have a bigger impact than you telling somebody in your own family, I think.
Yeah, it's like the closer you are to the person, it's like the less your opinion matters.
That's
the
right.
less weight there is to it.
Exactly.
It's like, what do you know? I don't know why it's like that, but it's very true.
It is true. Like you could tell somebody over and over and over again, but then somebody else comes along and tells them, and it's like, oh, they got it.
Yeah. It's funny. I remember Tom, at our last event, Frances Pouliot spoke, and Carol, Tom's wife, watched Frances speak.
Okay.
And then Carol was telling Tom after, like, oh, Frances made some really good points about like sovereignty and Bitcoin, and like, oh, I kind of get it now. And Tom was just like smashing his head against the wall.
It's so true. Yeah. There's something about that. Yeah.
I don't know what it is. Just natural, I guess. Well, it's been quite the journey. How long do you think you're going to continue working I don't want to say semi-retired, because you still are helping a lot of different investors.
Yeah.
You tend to focus more in the Barrie Orillia area, I'd say is fair, but are you still working outside of that vicinity?
Yeah, I just did 2 properties in the Niagara region.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm mainly working with people that I already have worked with. Mm-hmm. So wherever they are working or wherever their properties are is kind of where it is. So that's what I'm doing. I'm still working with people that I already worked with, and anybody that they refer me to.
Yeah.
And the odd time I'll work with somebody else, but that's pretty much what I've been doing pretty much since 2016. So I had enough work to keep me really busy right up until, when the property downsized. Like we had a really busy 2021, and then when the properties were jumping, like every month they were just jumping in price. It was unbelievable. And went in right into 2022, and then when they cut or raised the interest rates, and that started the whole raising of rates, and it kind of just died for a lot of people. Like a lot of real estate just kind of stopped. Mm-hmm. So I'm not back to that level of busyness since then, and it's okay. It worked. Timing was great for me.
Yeah. At what point so would it be safe to say that real estate has become your pension, the rental properties that you own?
Yeah, that was to contribute to it. Yeah.
Yeah, to fund your retirement. I think obviously you mentioned you had a pension before from your previous work.
Yeah, it would be in RSPs. Like I don't have a pension from them, but I just took it into RSPs at the time. Yeah.
So was there a certain point in your investing journey, working with other investors, building up your own portfolio, where you started thinking, hey, this could be a way to fund my own retirement. This can be my own self-pension?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, so when I was 35, that's when I started thinking about retirement. And I registered into
Just a few years in the workforce is all you need to start thinking
exactly.
about. How the hell do I get out of this?
Well, I'm thinking about how, like I worked, when I worked in Kitchener, above us in our office was Canada Pension's office, and they'd come down on break and we'd be out in the street, talking, and they'd say, oh, by the time we hit retirement, there'll be no money left. And
they were saying that?
They were saying that this was back in the 80s, like 70s and 80s.
The CPP employees.
Yeah. They were saying by the time we hit retirement, there won't be any money left. So I thought that kind of was alarming to me. And I thought, oh.
And why were they saying that?
because it was unfunded. Like, it's just, the system wasn't going to maintain itself. There wasn't enough by the time we were the baby boomers. So by time.
Like, there's not enough people paying into it for us.
Yeah. Something along that line. I can't remember all their reasonings, but it just laid an impact on me. And I thought, I better not just rely on that. So I think I better start learning about investing and that sort of thing. So I took a course, went to Mohawk College actually, and took a course in real estate, regular investing, and tried to learn a little bit more about what, like, all these terms that I didn't know anything about. So that led me to a real financial guy who was handling all our financial stuff for many years. And then I was starting to bounce from one to another and after many years with him, I started.
These were like financial advisors?
Yeah.
And why were you bouncing?
Well, because I'd hear that they were doing better over here or whatever, so what I had regretted is that when I was moving money from one to the other, I should have just moved half of it and then saw how each one did for the next 5 years or something like that, and then I could move it back. Anyway, there was a whole bunch of movement around that I trying to find somebody better to handle my money.
Mm-hmm.
But so that, what was the question again?
I think I was asking at what point did you start viewing your properties as this is my pension?
Oh, okay. So
retirement.
I started with that, and it wasn't until, then I got into network marketing. I thought that was going to be the thing. I was with that company for 7 years. It still makes sense to me, the concept, but if the company isn't, I don't want, what do I say? It didn't work out. The company maybe not as ethical and breaking their own rules, and it just didn't work out, put it that way. So there were some people that were making good money, really good money. And then there was a lot that weren't. But then there was also, I saw it as a way to make a difference, right? So that was kind of my next step. And then the real estate, it wasn't until I started working with Tom and Nick that I thought that was, or my friend says you could help real estate investors. It didn't necessarily mean that I saw a vision for myself in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
But then once I started getting my own properties and seeing the difference it can make, then I started thinking, well, that can help with our retirement,
mm-hmm.
right? That will really help.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Actually, a quick question that came to mind. We filmed a YouTube video at your property in Brantford that you converted to a duplex. Mm-hmm. It was a great video. And in that conversion, you actually had separated all utilities.
Yeah.
So typically investors, when they do these legal conversions, they'll just separate the hydro meters
mm-hmm.
and they'll share the water, the hot water tank, and the furnace with both units, but you chose to divide everything.
Yeah.
So run its own HVAC to each unit, run each water line to its own unit.
Yeah.
2 hot water tanks, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the hydro. So can I ask why you chose to do that?
Well, we did it in Hamilton on our first property. And reason I chose to do it is because I think one of the biggest complaints you get from, especially a basement unit, is they're controlling the heat. Like it's too cold, it's too hot, or they're plugging in heaters because it's too cold, or just to avoid a bit of that conflict where mm-hmm. people could, if I were in a property, I'd like to control my own heat and air, right? So it was more from that. And then also water. If you're sharing the same water tank, what if one drains the water tank and the other one hasn't had a shower yet? Like, to me, it just made more sense right from the beginning. I like the idea, even if it costs more money, I like the idea of separating the utilities. So then when we did the Brantford property, just did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it's worth the extra cost to you?
I think so. For me, it is, because I've never had a complaint about the other tenant using this too much water. And I can see it, that because I've switched them, I can really see, I had 2 people in the basement unit and 4 upstairs on my one property, and the basement unit was using twice as much water, like $100 and something a month of water, versus the upstairs tenant, which was around the $50 mark. Mm. And had they been joint together, the upstairs tenant would have really been paying for part of the basement tenant's water.
Yeah.
And same thing in Brantford. They have you can see how different people have different water usage. So to me, I'm happy that they can just pay for their own utilities and not have to share with somebody and not know, because that could create a friction too, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Do you highlight that in your advertisements? Hey, separate utilities, full function.
I have, yeah.
Yeah, because it's definitely a selling point, right? And then once you get those tenants in the property, it's going to help reduce turnover because it's just a better renting experience in that unit.
Yeah.
Like maybe you're living in the basement and you're just like frustrated after a couple of years because you just don't have control over your own heat.
Yeah.
So you want to move to, an upper unit or an apartment building or
One less pain point, right? Yeah.
one less pain point.
Yeah.
And like every little pain point you can reduce, the longer that person's going to want to stay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes total sense. Okay. I think that's all. I just wanted to hear about your story, to be honest.
Yeah.
You've been with Rockstar for so long, and I just thought it'd be cool to share your story.
Yeah. No, I love working with Rockstar. I've always, like, when I got, started working with Tom and Nick, they had a vision. They had, like, it was the same thing, right? They had a vision for what they were going to create and didn't know. And I like being on the bottom of things. Like, that's kind of how I get excited, is being part of something that somebody's creating.
What was that vision, and has it been achieved? Have you seen that vision come to fruition?
Oh, beyond.
Beyond what you ever expected.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. I think beyond what they
ever
expected, it would be fair as well.
Yeah, like hearing them talk about some of those times where when I actually started, they were actually wondering whether this was even going to work, or if why would I, questioning why I would even have come with them. Like, it never dawned on me that it wasn't going to work. Like, it clicked. It made sense.
Yeah.
We didn't have people in that marketplace that would work with investors the way we were going to work with them. Like, to me, it just made sense.
Yeah.
So it's gone beyond.
Yeah, and it did make sense, clearly, right?
Yeah.
It made a lot of sense for a lot of people. And yeah, it's been cool to be a small part of it. Like 2019, I think, is when I started. And it had already built up, so much momentum by then, right? The team had grown so much, and I was just one little piece of that team, as opposed to kind of, where you guys grew it from. So it's been cool to see.
Yeah, well, you've been great on the team. Like, honestly, I told you that when we were at the property. Like, I'm just amazed by who you are, and the actions you take, and how you're like, you're a self-starter, and like, you're doing the podcast now. There's just so many things you've contributed to with Rockstar.
Thank you.
I think
there's a lot of great people here, I think is fair to say. Yeah. A lot of people doing interesting things. So Leslie Kitchen, thank you for coming on the podcast.
All right.
Super appreciate it. And I don't know, do you want to leave contact info, or you're like, hey, I'm busy enough, I'm working on me?
Maybe just my email, like Leslie@rockstarbrokerage.com. It's totally fine.
Yeah, no pressure. I don't want to make you put it out, just if you want to.
Yeah, no, I don't mind talking to people and helping them, whatever way I can.
Okay, yeah. Leslie@rockstarbrokerage.com.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, awesome. Okay. Thanks so much, Leslie.
Okay, thanks.